Hey, gang, and welcome to another episode of Try Not to Curse. Gang, the title is not a suggestion. We are talking about poop. We're talking about poop. We're talking about medical procedures. We're talking about butt stuff in the medical sense.
Oh.
In the medical sense.
Oh, no. What did I sign up for?
If that is not for you, turn off now. Pick another episode. I apologize in advance, but I don't, because it's all important information we're about to give you. As you know, I've been Myke is here with us, by the way.
Yeah.
As you know, I've been
Reluctantly, I guess.
I've been going through this ongoing healthcare stuff to determine what's going on with me. And as last you knew, when I went to the hematologist, he said, "Hey, I want you to go to a GI doctor. Make sure you're not bleeding internally before we start iron infusions." So I was like, "Okay, endoscopy. I understand what that is. Go down my throat, check my system." So I go to the GI doctor a week later, and he says to me, "Yeah, endoscopy sounds good, but you know what? We're going to go ahead and do a colonoscopy as well. Get you from both sides. Just cover all the bases."
The old GI rotisserie, I like to call it.
Exactly. So I said to Myke, I said, "You ever had a colonoscopy?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, we're going to talk about it." And he goes, "Okay, that's fine."
I guess, yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not the only part of it. That's not the reason I wanted to talk with you, Myke, because this is very important as well. As I was leaving the GI doctor's office, he said to me, "Oh, you know what? We'll get some samples as well. So go down to the lab down the street, pick up some cards, and we'll get some samples done before the procedure." So mind you, this was Thursday. My endoscopy colonoscopy was scheduled for the following Tuesday. I had to do the prep for all of that Monday evening into the following morning. So I've never given samples of any kind. I've had blood work done plenty of times before. Wasn't really sure what he was talking about. So I go down to this lab, say, "Hey, there's some lab work that's been sent in. I have to pick up these sample cards." The lady at the, and of course I'm thinking, "Please don't tell me this is a stool sample. Please don't tell me this is a stool sample." So the lady at the desk says, "Oh, yeah. And you know what? We do it a little differently now. So all you have to do when you use the restroom is wipe and then wipe the soiled tissue on the card."
Oh, I am not ready for this episode.
So I'm already
not
upset.
mature enough for this conversation.
Well, so I'm already very upset and traumatized.
So you get a sample card. I would like to know what the old-fashioned way was.
So, okay, here we go. Strap in. I'm telling you. I'm going to tell you right now.
I am so strapped.
Poor you guys and Myke, unfortunately, you're going to learn a hell of a lot about me today.
I thought we were going to talk about my movie that just came out yesterday.
No, we're talking about the colonoscopy.
We're talking about shit.
So, full disclosure, I was ready to go. And I said, well, I think it would look a little strange if I went into the restroom of the lab and then came back 5 minutes later and handed them my sample card.
Why would that be strange?
I just think it's kind of, I don't know.
Why would that be strange?
I feel like that's
a
rude.
fresh sample.
I feel like that's rude.
No, that's the freshest. If I requested a sample, I'd rather have 2 minutes old than 2 weeks old.
I suppose. So, okay, so here's the thing. So I had to go to Target to pick up my prep solution stuff from the pharmacy there. So I said, I'll just do it in the Target bathroom and then come back, 20 minutes later or whatever.
Sure.
Bring this package that I was given to the restroom at Target. I open it up and I start reading the instructions. First of all, it's not one sample card, it's 3. I need to take a stool sample once a day for the next 3 days. And again, this all has to be done prior to my procedure, which is 4.5 days from now. Okay.
Ooh.
So I'm reading the instructions. And no, it's not a simple matter of just wiping your soiled toilet paper onto this card. You are supposed to find some type of vessel, bucket, something sterile that you can't just drop into the bowl of the toilet.
Kind of a sterile bucket.
Yeah. I mean, they had examples of garbage cans with plastic bags in them, Then you take a stick that resembles a wooden coffee stirrer. You take, there's your stomach.
That's my stomach calling. I'm ready for a sample right now.
You take a little sample of your poo, smear it on this card, then take another section of your poo, get a little sample of that, and smear it on the bottom portion of this card, and then smear them together. This isn't the worst part, gang.
Oh, God.
You then are supposed to leave it overnight to air dry.
To fester?
To air
dry. Okay.
For 3 days in a row.
Okay.
This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm traumatized.
The whole place is going to smell really bad.
This is what I'm saying. Well, and the worst part was, so the cards are about 3 inches by 2 inches. And I'm thinking I've got to fill the card.
It's a small card.
But still, that's a lot of arts and crafts with my shit on a stick.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm in Target upset because now I can't.
This is the worst trip you've ever taken to Target, too.
And now I'm also concerned because I just went. What if I can't go for the next 24? What if this is my one for that day? I only have 4 days essentially to accomplish this before I have to hand the samples back. So I'm having all kinds of feelings about it, right?
Okay.
I called the lab. I called them back and I said, the nurse told me this, but your instructions are wildly different than what the nurse had told me.
Sure.
And they had to double check because, again, heaven forbid anyone know what anything's going on. It's just your job that you do every single day, but sure. So they had to double check and they said, no, you have to do it, follow the instructions. I was like, God damn it. This is horrible. So every day, she first offered me these little plastic buckets that somehow sit in the toilet. And she was, oh, no, but never mind. You don't need those because you're going to do the tissue paper. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So
I drove back to the lab, said, I need these bucket things because the instructions she gave me were completely wrong.
Okay.
So the woman gives me 1 bucket. I said, no. I got to do this 3 days. You think I'm reusing this bucket? I'm not doing that. It's bad enough I got to use this piece of shit on my stick and rub this card. I'm not now going to rinse out this bucket that I've shit into. The fuck?
If it was a disposable bucket, it's a whole different conversation.
I'm saying. But it was this.
No.
Give me 3 buckets. And hopefully I get it right the first time.
I would ask for 4 just in case.
Well, she ended up giving me like 5. She just grabbed a stack and said, here, please get out of here, you psycho. Whatever.
That's not psycho. That's a very reasonable request.
Thank you.
What if you botch the first bucket?
Well, and that's just it. Because it's not like it's the size of the toilet. I only have so much area to try to hit here.
I would pee in the bucket and ruin the whole thing.
Well, that was my thing too, as I was trying to avoid.
You can't pee in the bucket?
I don't know that it matters necessarily, but I was trying to avoid mixing.
I mean, yeah, no, you can't cross the streams.
I would not
in a manner of speaking.
I would not think so.
No.
And unfortunately for women, we don't have the capacity to control when one happens and the other happens. So sometimes we go at the exact same time. Sometimes one happens before the other, and vice versa. So it's a whole,
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, so it's a whole thing. Okay.
Okay.
So day 1, I do this. Thankfully, I opened up because the cards are folded in half. So I open up the card, and thankfully, the little sample section I have to take is literally the size of like my thumb, like the top of my thumb.
There's a little nugget.
So it's not bad.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not bad,
Yeah.
but still.
It's the process of getting there, though.
As I was explaining to my mom, I was like, honestly, I think if shit didn't smell, I don't think it would be an issue. But the fact that I have to sit there with that stench while I'm doing this.
Could you put it on like a windowsill or something?
Well, I ended up putting it under my sink in the cabinet under my sink because my mom's first reaction was, how are you going to keep that from the cats? How are you going to keep the cats from?
Oh yeah, no, the cats are going to love it.
And I said that's my first issue.
Yeah.
So I put it under the sink overnight. But still, the fact is, I had to return home every day, and then take this card out.
You got the shitty cabinet down there.
Right. Put it in a bag, and then I had to do that for 2 days in a row. Okay.
No.
Insult to injury. The whole reason I was doing this was because my hematologist said, you have to go to the GI doctor before we can start your infusions. We got to cover all the bases, make sure you're not bleeding internally.
Okay.
I get a phone call from the hematologist's office. Hey, insurance approved everything. We want to set up the appointment for you to start your infusions.
But you told me to shit on a card first.
I said, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Because I was told I had to do X, Y, and Z. And by the way, the shit cards were never mentioned. Also, colonoscopy was never mentioned until I then saw the GI doctor. I was going for an endoscopy. That's all I was going for. Now I got all this other poop-related things. They
upgraded you to the rotisserie special.
Thank you.
And now they're having you collect your own samples underneath the sink.
Thank you.
So that's that.
I am over here.
It's more than you bargained for.
I'm traumatized by this, right?
Okay.
So you had, how long ago did you have a colonoscopy?
Been 4 years, maybe,
Okay.
maybe 3, 4,
Now,
5.
so
It's been a while.
But I bring up the sample cards to say, so I've heard of people taking stool samples before.
I've never done it. Never in my life.
I've done urine samples plenty of times.
I've
no big
never
deal.
been asked for a stool sample.
But from what I understood, of stool samples was it was kind of very much like a urine sample where you put a little bit in a cup.
Poop in a cup?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we do with the vet. The vet
Right.
needs a stool sample. You pick it up from the yard and say,
Right.
here you go.
Right. So
That's what you should have done to dry it out. You should have just taken a shit in the yard.
oh my God. So to be handed 3 cards and say they got to drive. And all I keep thinking is, it's 2025.
Yeah.
We have self-driving cars, sort of.
Ish.
But we can't think of any other way to do this. It's got to air dry overnight, 3 days in a row.
Well, I suppose you could have expedited the drying, maybe.
Oh God.
Like put it under a fan.
Oh my God.
I mean, that would waft. You'd be wafting
the
in
whole
it.
house.
Maybe if you got like one of those, like a jerky machine, like a
heat
dehydrator.
lamp
Heat lamp. Yeah.
Oh my Christ.
There's a lot of directions that you weren't expecting me to go on this podcast, and I just went.
But this is why I'm particularly having this conversation.
This is why you want me on here,
This is
because
why
I can maintain a level of seriousness,
Yeah.
yet be completely
Yeah.
a child at the same time.
I write my best friend Ben letters every so often, and I
Yeah.
said, heads up, just letting you know now, going to be a lot of poop talk in your
There's going to be a lot of poop
recent
talk,
letter.
Ben.
And he said, Liz, bring it on.
Now, did you send one of the samples with the letter? Because that would have been the ultimate. You know that there's somewhat of a sidebar to it, but not really. There are services out there that you can prank people by mailing them poop,
I mean, yeah.
Anonymous poop.
You can mail people a lot of things.
like bear poop.
Okay.
You know, but I would think
I'm not saying we should do that to certain members of Congress.
if you're trying to get
However-
revenge on something
Yeah.
or on someone, it's a really good method. Save your
However,
sample.
It's very easy to find a congressman's address via the web. I'm just going to throw that out there to a couple people. Just saying. But so, okay, fine. But so I was ready to call the whole thing off when I got that phone call saying, oh, we can do the infusions. You're ready to go. But every time I mentioned to somebody I was getting a colonoscopy, they were like, oh, that's great. That's wonderful.
I mean, it is good.
Yeah.
It is good.
And I had never gotten one before. I'm 40 years old.
You should,
Yeah,
you
I'm
need
getting
to see
to
what's
that
going
point
on in
anyway.
there.
Yeah, I'm
you
getting
got
to
to
that
see what's
point.
going on in there.
So then the best part is, so I worked all weekend, worked until Monday morning. I worked overnight. So Monday, I'm like, this is going to be great. My last meal is at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to sleep all fucking day, so I don't even have to deal with the starvation, the liquid diet.
Yeah.
I start my prep at 6 p.m.
Ugh, that's the worst part.
I have to stop ingesting anything by midnight, so I can have Gatorade, I can have bone broth, I can have all the electrolytes.
Jello.
Yeah, until 12.
The
12
clear
night.
liquid diet, they
Right,
call
the clear
it.
liquid
Yep,
diet,
yep.
exactly. So I'm like, okay, great. Well, I'm getting phone calls all fucking day from these offices. All fucking day.
You're not sleeping.
No, well, I said, let them go to voicemail. Let them go. I don't give a shit. Let them leave me a message. Like, they're probably just confirming appointments, whatever the shit. I brought the samples to the lab that morning. Not thinking about it.
What if they wanted to discuss your sample? What if they were like, Liz, this is the best sample I've ever received in my life?
Listen, I strive for excellence in all things.
Did you draw a picture in it?
Believe me, I
You
tried
should
really.
have drawn like a little ghost, a little
Listen,
boo.
I am the ideal patient. When a doctor gives me instructions, I follow them to the letter.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
To the letter.
I'm the same way because
Let there be no confusion.
they know about what they're talking. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, but again,
I'm all hypothetical
but it
medically.
still begs the question in
Yeah.
2025 that this is the best possible way to get this information. And by the way, who sat in their office one day and said, you know what? There's a better way.
Well, you can learn a lot
I think
about.
let's smear some shit
Yeah.
on some cards over a 3-day period. And that's the best way we can collect information.
You can learn a lot about someone from their poop.
I'm not saying you can't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I feel there's got to be, like, again, like the nurse suggested, use tissue, just swipe it on the card.
But that's not sterile.
Well, clearly not.
That is
because
not sterile.
They were told, nay. Do
Well,
not do that.
She definitely went to the wrong nursing school then.
Clearly. I don't know.
Because it is not sterile.
Yeah, to the point where the lab was like, who told you that? I'm like, I've never seen this woman before in my life, let alone asked her name. I don't know. She wasn't there when I went back.
They should have provided you, like, when you got those ice cream cups in elementary school, the little wooden spoon that it would come with.
God. Well, and the worst part was when I first opened the envelope to look at all of the contents, I only saw one wooden stirrer.
Oh, you got to reuse it.
So I said that to my mom. I said, what the fuck is this? I got to reuse.
No.
So I'm already in my head. I'm like, okay, I'll just cut the top off with scissors every day. Like I'm going through it. I am going through it.
No.
But thankfully there was 3 stirs in there. But again, I had to like flip it to the other side so I could get the other section of the poo sample.
That's rough, dude.
I'm saying, because I thought that's the whole point. You want to isolate the 2 different sections.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't. All the fucking things going through my brain.
Wow.
So again, they called me and they said, oh, we want to set up your appointment for infusions. I said, you can go fuck yourselves. I was told I had to do these things first. I'll call you when I'm done. Let me get through this.
Good move.
This trauma for the next 4 days first.
Mm-hmm.
Then Monday, I get a phone call from the office.
I'm sorry, was this before or after the rotisserie?
This was before the rotisserie.
This is well before the rotisserie.
Before the rotisserie.
Got it. This is
leading up to
said rotisserie.
The appetizer before the rotisserie.
Right, because you mentioned you did the cleanse.
Right. So I'm doing so I'm in the process of doing the cleanse.
Yeah.
Well, they call and leave all these messages on my phone. One of them was,
you should play them on the air.
Yeah, right. One of them was, hey, before you get here, we need payment of $1,300.
Well, you can go fuck yourself.
Well, again,
$1,300.
I'm saying. So I call back, say, hey, I got this message from billing, just trying to get an understanding. Is it possible for me to see, like, can I pay before, like, when I get to the office? Because I want to see an itemized bill.
Always ask for the itemized.
Right.
Always.
Right. And then they called me back. They said, oh, nay. Your insurance is going to cover it. They cover 80%. So we're going to bring it to insurance first, and then the remaining balance, you're responsible for it. You don't have to pay a thing.
That's how it should be in the first place. But the fact that they even addressed you for $1,300, that's egregious.
But also within less than 24 hours of the procedure. Anybody else would get that phone call and say, well, then fuck it. I'm not going.
Yes.
I'm not doing it.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Which is not good either.
But you've already begun the prep.
Right. Then I get another phone call. Because now, mind you, I've already started the prep. I'm supposed to stop the prep. The prep should be done by 8 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Yes.
I need to be in the Ridgefield office by 10 a.m.
And for those of our listeners that don't understand what the prep does, could you please explain?
Oh, I sure can. It's some type of bicarbonate, bisulfate. It's literally a gallon jug.
Yeah.
You fill it with water with this powder that's already preloaded into it.
Did you get blue or yellow?
Yellow. It wasn't even yellow, though. It was clear, and it supposedly had lemon flavor. Not at all.
No, the battery acid flavor.
100%.
Battery acid.
It is
flavor.
quite frankly battery acid
Gross.
that you are shoving down your gullet.
Yep.
And you are supposed to drink 8 ounces every 15 minutes until half of that gallon is gone. So from 6 p.m. until whenever I'm able to finish that half a gallon.
Yep.
But again, I'm allowed to have bone broth. I'm allowed to have Jello, provided it's not blue, red, or
nothing with
orange.
Nothing with dyes.
Essentially. Well, no, I could have like green Jello. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yes.
they want anything that looks like blood.
Nothing that looks
any
like
color that could come from you. Unless you're a lobster, you're not making much that's green.
Right, exactly.
Maybe something. I'm sure the kidney's doing something.
Possibly.
Bile. Anyway.
So again, I can have bone broth, I can have Gatorade, all that's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing fibrous, so like no applesauce. Until midnight. Okay, fine. I do all of that. But again, so I get a phone call that says, we want to change your arrival time. And again, it doesn't leave me any other information. Just give us a call back. So this is now all after hours.
But they're done. Yeah, they went home.
Right. So I call back again. Oh, I don't see anything here about it. I'm not really sure. Da-da-da. How did none of you know anything? You do this. This is all you do all day long.
They're not talking. There's no communication happening. That's what's
there's
going
no
on.
nothing. And then, of course, they say to me, oh, check your portal. They might have put the information.
I hate the portal.
Thank you.
No.
And I said to this gal, I literally just set up your portal this morning. I couldn't tell you how to get to it, how to navigate. What's the website? How do I get back to it? Oh, that I don't know. Bitch, you work there.
You can't refer someone to the portal and not know how to get to the portal.
So again, all of this stuff leading up to the procedure, I have no problem with the procedure itself. But any normal human being that has a regular schedule, a straight 9 to 5, doesn't have a lot of extra cash lying around, this is why people don't seek health care. This is why they don't treat themselves, because this is the bullshit they have to navigate through to fucking get there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So they said, well, we'll leave a message. They'll have them call you. So of course, the next morning, because I had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, finish the second half of the prep. So the prep is basically just to clean you out, gang. That's the whole premise of it.
It flushes you clean.
So you're urinating from your booty hole for a good 8 hours. A solid 8 hours.
A half gallon goes in, but like 3 gallons come out.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't know how it happens.
Exactly. Huh. And mine was neon yellow at the end, which I was kind of disturbed by, but apparently absolutely normal.
Yeah.
And that's what they said to me. Was it clear or was it yellow? I said, it was yellow, babe. No distinction.
That means it's flushing the system. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just bile ducts now at this point.
Yeah.
But
it's no color that hasn't come out of me before.
Right.
But
so
just saying.
Yeah. So I get a phone call the next morning. Yeah, we wanted to see if you can come in at 9:30.
Okay.
I said, I'm in New Milford. You're in Ridgefield. I have someone driving me because according to y'all, I can't drive myself. No, I can't get there for 9:30.
Well, you're getting knocked out. You can't drive yourself.
Well, no, absolutely. But again, this is what I don't understand. Why would you be calling someone the morning of, knowing that they had to arrange a ride to get there in the first place, thinking that they can not only completely change their own schedule, but the person that's giving them the ride? So again, this is why nobody wants to do anything with healthcare. This is why nobody wants to take care of themselves.
Right.
This is why people walk around going, I'd rather not know. Because if I know, then I have to deal with it. And nobody has that kind of time anymore. It's crazy. So while I'm on the phone with that person explaining to them why I can't get there early, then I get another phone call and they leave a message. Oh, yes, you're expected to give us $1,300 when you get here. So we're back to that again. So again, nobody's talking to each other. Mm-hmm. Nobody's confirming, yes, we've spoken with her, X, Y, and Z, whatever. Thankfully, there wasn't any traffic that morning. So my mom and I were able to get there early. So we got there right at 9:30. My procedure was supposed to start at 11:15. They had said it'll be about 2 hours. To my mom, we'll text you when she's headed to recovery. You got about 30 minutes.
So why the hell did you have to be there so early?
Well, because other people, I guess they were gonna bump me down the line because other people had canceled or something. Probably because they kept going through all this bullshit.
Because of the bullshit
with admin.
Correct.
Well, so I got there. I think I was in by 10, and I was done by 11:15.
Okay.
So my poor mom has driven back to New Milford, has started running errands thinking she's got 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Nope.
They immediately call her.
Chicken's done.
Come on back.
Get back here.
Come on back.
Ding.
But the whole time as I'm dealing with all of this drama and bullshit and phone calls and misinformation and people talking over each other, I just kept saying to everybody, I'm going to do it. But so help me, if they don't, they better find at least one fucking polyp. That's all I need.
No, why would you want anything?
Find one polyp, make it worth it.
Why would you want anything?
Because make it worth it for me.
Wouldn't it be more worth it for them to be like, hey, you're the epitome of health.
I will say,
you are perfect.
My doctor, not only did he write that the patient was competent.
Good.
But he also wrote that the bowel preparation was excellent. So again, thank you. If there's anything to be put on my tombstone.
Put that shit on your tombstone. I was just going to say.
If there's anything to be put on my tombstone.
Prepared her colon.
The bowel preparation was excellent.
Immaculate.
And you know what? I'm going to be dining on that line for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Now, when you got yours, did they find anything?
There was a little inflammation in my lower bowel on the right side.
So they thought possibly Crohn's disease? Because I had the same.
Yes, but then they worked me up for no Crohn's.
Okay, so I had the same. They found mild inflammation.
Mild inflammation.
And I'm thinking to myself, could it be the fucking prep process? Maybe. Could it be that?
Maybe,
you're
but
upsetting the system?
It showed up on an ultrasound first, which is why I went in the first place. So for me, no.
So I will say they found 6 polyps.
6?
6.
See, you asked for it.
Well, I mean, I wasn't expecting that. 6 polyps.
Got.
I also had internal hemorrhoids, but that was I figured that was probably going to happen. Internal, not external. I've had one external.
I didn't know that internal. I don't want to talk about that.
It's true.
I just didn't know that internal hemorrhoids were a thing.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's usually the majority of the hemorrhoids people get are internal. So you just don't know about it. You just don't know. Now
All right,
poor
well, there
Myke.
you go.
Well, so I knew it was a possibility after the bariatric sleeve surgery because your poops are very difficult in the very beginning because you're not hydrating enough. So I did have one external hemorrhoid during that process, which I've never talked about on the show before because, quite frankly,
That's nothing that no one needs to know.
But
about
nothing
that,
makes you feel more disgusting as a human being than having a hemorrhoid. There's nothing on this earth aside from taking samples of your poop and swiping them on the card.
I was driving my car with my wife and kids in it one time. I'm not going to say who called, but I picked up the phone and I said, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on?" And the response to my entire family was, "I've got this hemorrhoid the size of a basketball."
Good God. Good God.
And I've never been so quick to take someone off speed dial. Like they could have said the most vulgar, racist thing, and I would have kept them on speed dial. But that I don't think so.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was a moment in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, hemorrhoids are one of those things that no one needs to discuss in public with other people.
Hey, it's a part of life. And I had mentioned to my friends that I was going to be talking about this with you, and they said, good. Nobody ever talks about this stuff.
Well, no one ever talks about this stuff.
It's normal. They should talk about it.
I don't know why it's so taboo. Why is butt stuff so taboo?
Because it's butt stuff.
That's the name of this episode. Butt stuff is so taboo.
No, this episode is warning poop talk. I'm telling you guys right from the jump what's happening.
There's
you need
poop
to
talk.
know.
There's poop talk.
You need to be aware.
Did you have what was your experience like coming out of the...
So my mother has had 3 colonoscopies. And
I've had 2.
So she had said to me in the last one, she had started waking up towards the end. So I brought that up with the anesthesiologist, and he said that's absolutely perfectly normal. What's important is that you're asleep for the beginning, for the going in. Because again, I had an endoscopy first. So they put this little piece in my mouth to keep my jaw open so that they can put the tube down my throat. And then they go in your booty.
Right on in.
Well, so sure enough, I wake up towards the end while the camera and things are still in my booty. And I'm kind of like, like when you're first waking up out of a dream or something, like I'm kind of in and out of it, and I'm thinking, and I start fluttering my eyes, and there's the anesthesiologist sitting right next to me, and he puts his hand on my shoulder to make sure that I don't move, and that yep, I see that you're kind of awake, but we're not done. And I just said, and I'm thinking, and I knew that the piece was out of my mouth. So I said, okay, at least I know this is exactly what he said.
That would suck.
Yeah, at least I knew this is exactly what he said. This is the end. This is towards the end. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to close my eyes and pretend it's not. And I actually ended up falling back asleep.
Well, that's good.
And then they wheeled me out.
Because if you're going to wake up during that, you'd rather have something in your ass than going down your throat. It's a really vulgar way to say it.
I mean, that's fair.
But I mean...
Yeah. One is
suffocating, like esophageal, something going down your throat. That would be awful.
It was towards the end, so he was on his way out of the booty. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't the worst. I was like, oh, it's in there, kind of thing. It was like, oh, all right.
He was pulling out this fucking shit.
But I will say,
wow.
I got a full pay. I was hoping to get some pictures of my colon back because I distinctly remember.
Why? So you're gonna put them up behind you with your movie posters?
I love shit like that, man.
Yeah, evidently. Was that a pun?
I have the X-rays of my teeth, of my jaw.
I do have some X-rays.
Yeah,
and stuff,
I've got all the pictures from my meniscus surgery. I've got all the X-rays of my knees with my bone spurs, my ankle when I broke my ankle. I've got that X-ray. Okay. I'm fascinated by all that shit.
By medical imaging. That's your thing.
Well, just the fact that the human body is so fucking bananas. I love Dr. Pimple Popper, not because she's popping pimples, but because how does the body do that?
I have had so many suggested reels of just pimple popping and shit coming up on my Facebook and Instagram recently.
I love it.
See, that's not the ASMR that I want.
Not the ASMR, not even the visual. I'm just fascinated by why the body does what it does, how it and how come this person gets it but that person doesn't. I'm interested.
It's fascinating stuff.
It is really fascinating at the end of the day. So, and I distinctly remember there was a season of The Real World where one of the girls goes and gets a colonoscopy and she goes, oh, look, here are my pictures from my colonoscopy. My doctor said I had the nicest colon he's ever seen in his
I'm
life.
sure he did.
So I'm like, okay, bring on my colon pictures. Can I tell you, they did not disappoint, Myke. I got a full page of colon pictures, and then I got 2 like half pages. I think I probably got 30 different images of my colon. Well, yes, it does show the 6 polyps and the 2 internal hernias or hemorrhoids, but still, I have a nice spread.
Okay. I mean, it's something.
Of every angle of my colon. There might be some of my throat in there as well. I don't know that you can really distinguish between the two. I have to look back and
no, it's all just a tube.
Yeah, it's all
just a big holy
pink
tube.
Tissue.
It's one tube and it just takes you to the different side of.
Yeah. So I mean, I've amassed quite a nice collection. So pretty soon I'm going to have like my body from every angle and inside out.
From the inside.
Yeah, from the inside. Yeah.
Like that Inside Out boy from the Nickelodeon
That's right.
Cartoon.
But again, so like I said, so he did say, so all of the polyps not only have been removed, but they've been sent out for testing.
Okay.
Whatever mucose samples they took, they're sending all of that. There's a bunch of tests out there in the world that they're checking on stuff. But same thing, they're checking me for Crohn's now because I had the mild inflammation. So he just wanted to double check. Please, if I have Crohn's, I'm going to jump off.
Just ignore it. Just ignore it.
I mean, I literally have nothing. I have nothing that would lead me to believe I might possibly, like I have no GI
Well, something's going on in there.
Well, clearly aside from the polyps, I have no GI issues. I've never been stomach sick. I don't get stomach aches. You know what I mean? Like,
so the hematologist just opened up this whole can of worms for no reason.
Well, just to be sure that I'm not bleeding internally, which unfortunately one of my family members for the past year has been, and he's been in and out of the hospital 4 or 5 times while they've been trying to determine where he's been bleeding from and how to stop it.
Wouldn't they know if you were bleeding internally just based off of these tests and or your samples?
Well, and that's what I said. I said my relative is going through this. I know exactly what the symptoms are. I'm not bleeding internally.
Yeah.
They said, well, just to rule it out. But like I said, then I get that phone call. Oh, yeah, we're ready for your infusion. So I was like, motherfucker, you're just sending me to get another bill paid? You know what I mean? Like, that's how it felt, which is disappointing. But
well,
again,
I mean, at least you'll hit your deductible real early in the year.
I've hit it by yesterday. It's done. I've hit it.
So go get everything MRI.
Well, so...
like that, the year I had 1 year where I hit my deductible in January, and I had every test done that year.
Well, I mean, again, I've talked about this ad nauseum. I'm at the doctor every 5 seconds. I literally had 2 appointments today, so that's not an issue, but it's just the fact that again, if it wasn't for all the rigmarole that led up to the damn thing,
right?
I would in and out no problem. And this is what people don't seem to understand. They're like, he's just not taking care of himself. He's not doing the right things. No, motherfucker, you make it impossible. You make it impossible for the average Joe with a 9 to 5 to take care of themselves. Society is not set up, or at least American society is not set up for
American
us to,
society.
For us to do the right things. And
it's a shitty system.
It's awful.
It's a shitty system.
It's awful.
Yeah.
But again, I am glad that I did it, especially knowing that I had the 6 polyps. So we'll see what happens from there. But now I have set up my appointments for my iron infusions. They start next week. I only have to do 2. Thank you very much.
Oh, there you go. That's something.
So we'll see how that goes. But I can't donate blood for at least 6 months, which is very upsetting.
There's a shortage.
I literally had a donation booked for next week.
You got to donate blood. I had
to cancel.
Yeah.
Well, again, as I said in my last episode, when I told the hematologist I was donating blood this entire time, if what the fuck was a facial expression, he made it. And he looked at me and was like, you can't do that.
You've killed a man.
Well, all of my blood's good. And it always goes to somebody in need. I get the alerts that, hey, we've had to use your donation.
Well, so it's not good for you is what he's saying.
It's just low. It's just low in iron. Everything else about it is fine, So
take a supplement.
I do. I've every day since I was 12. I take iron every day because I'm anemic.
Take another supplement, and then
it's the absorption is the problem, not the amount. It's the absorption. My body's not holding it. So they're giving.
So how is that a problem for your blood going into somebody else?
It's not.
It's not.
No. His concern is not for the person getting my pint of blood. His concern is for me. You're supposed to have 10 to 15% ferritin in your blood.
Sure.
I have 3% as of December.
Oh.
And I have since donated since then.
Well, that's low.
But nobody.
So you're giving away all this ferritin that you need to be holding on to for yourself.
And again, because doctors do this every day, I think they get hung up and they forget that I am not a doctor and I did not go to school with them and I did not learn these things.
Yes.
So all my doctor told me in December when I got the blood work back was, yes, you're not absorbing iron. He didn't give me a number. He didn't give me a percentage. He didn't tell me what I'm supposed to.
No, you have to go on the portal to see your numbers. You got to go on the portal yourself.
Shit. So then I go to the hematologist and he goes, you're 3% in December. I said, I don't know what 3% means. 3% of what?
Is that good?
Right. 3% of what? Out of 5 or what? And so then I had to fucking Google because he didn't even give me the answer either. So I Googled it and the Google says 10 to 15. Okay. So this is why we're doing all of this.
Well, on the portal, it'll be red if it's wrong. It's always red if it's not where it's supposed to be.
Oh, my God.
And they give you a range and then they say you are here.
And why are we doing the portal? Nobody reads the portal. Nobody opens the portal. I can't tell you how many messages I've sent my doctor's office only to have to call them and say, hey, could you check the fucking portal?
I think it's a doctor by doctor. I've had some success on the portal.
Okay, not me.
I've used the portal to success.
I've successfully received messages, but I've never been able to. When they say,
you get test results and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
works,
fine.
It works,
but not if I have to contact them. And that's what visit us at the portal. And, okay, well, I've done that and you haven't responded.
Yeah.
Don't get me going. That's a
crapshoot.
It's a whole thing. But anyway, so that's next steps. But again, I wanted to come on because again, all the feedback that I got from everybody was that's really good that you're doing it. It's really good you're going to be talking about it.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. I know we have a mutual friend who would not have this conversation.
Oh, absolutely not. Was that the friend that told you about the hemorrhoid though? No.
No, that would be hilarious.
They would not share that.
No. There's a certain mindset that some people have that like medical issues are private.
Yes.
Which I don't personally understand.
It is good etiquette if you're at a dinner party or something. Do not discuss your health.
Well, you're not going to go sit down and they bust out the fine china and the chargers are on the table and it's just you want to see pictures of my colon.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
No, there's an etiquette. There's a procedure to it, but it's not. I mean, it shouldn't be taboo.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's where I've
had one. You've had one.
Right.
He's had one.
Right.
My mom's had one. My dad's had one.
We're all supposed to get them. Everyone should get them when it's time.
Should be getting their colon checked.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, and everything else in between.
Got to do the rotisserie. If you're going in for one, just do them both. You're already knocked out.
Well, and that's where he was coming from when he said that. He said, "Okay, you're here for an endoscopy." He goes, "While we're at it, you might as well, and just so we can cover all the bases, make sure." I said, "Sure, fine."
And you got to go in there every couple of years and just check it out.
And that's fine.
You really, really should.
And you know what? It wasn't bad. I love the facility I went to. It was Ridgefield Surgical Center. Fantastic. Okay. Wonderful facility.
Shout out
Everyone
Ridgefield
that worked there was
Center.
fabulous.
Okay.
I got a nice cup of tea when I got out of there. I got a handful of saltine crackers while I was waiting for my pickup.
I almost aspirated on the saltine crackers the last time I went. When I apparently both times coming out of being knocked out, I was an asshole. I was just a dick.
Least.
I was insulting people.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
I was not. And then apparently, and this is the one thing I do remember from it, I'm trying to eat the saltines so fast that I start like inhaling the saltine dust and start like choking. And luckily, my lovely wife was there to rescue me. Yeah, no,
Chew
apparently
your food, dumbass.
I was not a good patient.
Yeah.
And it's honestly the biggest fear of doing another one. It's not the procedure itself.
Yeah.
It's not being knocked out.
Yeah.
It's not the results we might find. It's that like 3 to 5 minutes where you're coming out of it and you can say anything and you got no control and you got no memory.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something really racist might come out.
Oh,
you can't control it. Something about Jesus might come out. You can't control it.
Yeah.
It's a very what's the word I'm looking for? Vulnerable. Yeah. It's a very vulnerable moment.
I'm almost the opposite. It's as the drugs are kicking in that's when I'm goofy and
no because they tell you to count to 10 and you're out by 9.
Well, so when I went in for my meniscus surgery, you have to, again, modern medicine, gang. It's 2023 at this point. I go in for my meniscus surgery and I'm laying flat on my back and they say, "Oh, okay, bend this leg and the nurse is going to hold your leg in place." I said, that's how we're doing this? That's how you're going to do a surgery, is the nurse is going to hold my leg in place? All right. But so they tell me this. And again, now I'm starting to get loopy because the drugs are kicking in. I said, well, Mary, I shaved my legs just for you.
So that's great. That's a great line. It's a good line.
Doctors don't appreciate medical comedy like the laymen do.
Doctors do not appreciate medical there's a stand-up comedy special.
Yes, please. Plug.
That comes out next week.
Hooray.
My friend Alex Hooper is the comedian. I directed the special.
Yes.
And produced it, but
Yay.
directed. And
so at the time of this airing, it will be out.
So it's out. You can go right now. It's called Alex Hooper, Brace Yourself. It's on Amazon Prime Video. It's on Apple TV. You can go out, rent it. It's awesome. He went through a battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma. He was stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. The jokes that he tells, and a lot of it being taboo subject. People don't want to talk about cancer anymore than people want to talk about colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Some of the things that he went through, fucking hilarious. But he even says that he went, not to spoil any of his jokes, and he tells them better than I do.
Sure.
But he had to go at one point to get a sperm count or something, and he's delivering jokes to the nurse there, and she just wasn't having it.
Because they've heard it all.
So she gives him a bag, and he says to her, "No need for the bag. I'm dining in." Which is an amazing line.
Fantastic.
It's the only punchline I'm going to ruin, Alex.
Fantastic.
But there's my plug. Go and watch it. It's such a good special.
And what's it called?
Alex Hooper, Brace Yourself.
Okay.
Apple TV. Watch it.
Well, while we're talking about Apple TV and Amazon
and colons.
Well, and sure.
Yeah.
You have another project that's now out.
Yeah, Candlewood. Yeah, my movie.
Hooray.
Yeah, it's out.
We've talked about it before.
I know. We should do like a whole other episode about it, though.
No, and we will.
I feel like this isn't the episode.
Well,
butt stuff is not the episode to talk about the release of my movie. Who knows?
This could be the most popular episode I ever do.
All right. So in that case, go out and watch Candlewood. It's on. It's a suspense thriller, and it's on Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, and Fandango at Home. You can rent it on. There's a couple of other platforms that it's on.
I didn't know there was a Fandango at Home.
It used to be called Vudu.
Oh, okay.
But they just rebranded, right?
Interesting.
And it's also on like Google Play Store and the Microsoft Store and iTunes, so you can get it straight on your phone.
Yeah.
But you can also get those other apps on your phone.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, so again, gang, for those of you who were able to listen and stomach this episode, I do appreciate it. But again, I do think these things are
stomach, esophagus, and colon. The episode.
Right.
Thank you very much.
I do think these things are important to talk about. I've lost 3 aunts to cancer. Both of my parents have had cancer. So get yourself checked.
My uncle had esophageal cancer, and I lost another uncle with pancreatic and stomach cancer.
Yeah.
So it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's in our genes.
Yeah.
It's probably in your genes if you're listening to it.
Yeah.
And if it's not in your genes, it might be in your shirt.
Well, and
Hey-yo.
Okay.
Hey-yo.
Anyway.
No, seriously, cancer.
So
it's real, and this is how you find it.
Yeah.
You can't find it unless you get checked.
You got to get checked.
Which is why I don't get it when people are like, I hate going to the doctor. I'm like, well, then you're going to die when you're 60.
Well, and again, it's, to me, I know for a fact, it's not physically being at the doctor. It's not going through any of these procedures. It's all the bullshit before and after that because nobody has the brain capacity to deal with it.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So if only we could find a way to make it easier.
Move to Canada.
If only we all had an extra $10,000 and we can just go do a full body scan in Turkey one afternoon, in and out. Google that, guys. It's crazy. I wish I had an extra 10 grand because that's what I would do. I would go to Turkey once a year.
That's a thing?
It's like, and they treat it like an actual spa. You're in a robe.
Oh, very nice.
You get massage. You get meals throughout the day.
Get a Hummer?
They give you a CAT scan. They give you an MRI. They do blood work. They do x-rays. All of it in one shot, 10K, in and out, done. I wish I had the extra capital to do something like that. But why can't it be that easy?
I went to Turkey one time. I did not know that was an option.
It sure was.
Instead, I went to the spice market.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Hung out with a bunch of cats roaming around.
I got a lot of saffron that week.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, gang.
That's it.
That's it. Myke, as always, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. You freed up some time today for me.
Yeah.
So we could talk butt stuff.
Talk butt stuff.
And the next time Myke is on, we're going to talk about... need to isolate that sound for your own podcast.